From the moment he was born, his life was marked by inequality. He grew up under the same roof as his brother, but it never felt like the same home. His brother was the light, the pride, the future. He was the shadow, the mistake, the child who was simply there. At family gatherings, relatives would praise his brother. "He's so talented. So clever. He'll go far." His parents would beam with pride, nodding, smiling, basking in borrowed glory. And him? He stood on the sidelines, clutching his small drawings or school report cards, hoping someone would notice. But no one ever did. At birthdays, he waited eagerly for the same celebrations his brother got: candles, balloons, cake, laughter. Instead, his day would pass like any other. If he was lucky, he'd get a quick pat on the head and a leftover slice of cake from someone else's plate, but still, he tried. He studied harder. He cleaned the house without being asked. He kept out of trouble. He dreamed that one day, they would finally see him. That one day, he would be enough. But then came the night that shattered him. He lay in bed, eyes closed, when he heard his parents' voices through the thin walls. His father's voice was cold, heavy with finality: "He'll never become anything. He's a waste of our time." His mother sighed. "We should focus on the elder one. He will carry our name forward. The younger, he'll only drag us down." The boy's eyes filled with tears. He pressed his pillow over his face to muffle the sobs. For the first time, he realized the truth: it wasn't that they forgot him. It was that they didn't want him. A week later, they took him out. For the first time in years, his parents held his hand, spoke kindly, even smiled at him. His little heart swelled with hope. "Maybe they've changed," he thought. "Maybe they finally love me." But when they reached a crowded street, his father knelt down and said, "Wait here. We'll be right back." The boy nodded, innocent, trusting. He waited. Minutes passed. Hours passed. The sun sank, the streets emptied. Fear wrapped around him like chains. He called out, first softly, then desperately. But no one came. They never came back. That night, a child was abandoned, not by strangers, not by fate, but by the very people who were supposed to protect him. The streets became his new home. Cold, merciless, unforgiving. He begged for food, but people turned away. He searched garbage bins, found scraps, sometimes fought with stray dogs over bones. He slept under bridges, shivered in the rain, curled up in dark corners where no one could see him. Some nights, he cried himself to sleep. Other nights, he stared at the stars and whispered, "Why wasn't I enough?" Then one evening, as he dug through trash, he found a torn book. The cover was missing, half the pages ripped out, but he clutched it like treasure. Under a flickering streetlight, he traced the words, sounding them out, teaching himself to read. That night, he made himself a promise: knowledge will be my way out. Hard work will be my weapon. If no one believes in me, I will believe in myself. So he worked. He washed dishes until his hands were cracked. He carried bricks until his back screamed in pain. He swept floors before dawn. The money was small, but he saved every coin. People mocked him. "Street rat. You'll never be anything." He never replied. He let their words become fuel. Years passed. He grew older, stronger. His first stall was nothing more than a wooden table, selling cheap goods. He stood there from sunrise to midnight, calling out to customers, forcing a smile through exhaustion. Some days, he sold nothing. Some days, he went hungry. But he never stopped. Failure hit him often. He was cheated by partners, robbed of his earnings, laughed at for dreaming too big. But every time he fell, he stood back up. Because in his heart, he carried the memory of that street, the echo of his father's voice calling him worthless. And he swore he would prove them wrong. One stall became two. Two became five. the boy turned into a man. His empire grew, not overnight, but through years of sweat, sacrifice, and sleepless nights, and then, one day, he stood in front of a tall building with his name engraved in shining letters. The boy who had once been left on a street corner was now a man respected by the world, but deep inside, he was still that boy, lonely, scarred, forever waiting for parents who never returned. One morning, his assistant entered his office quietly. "Sir," he said, "there are people outside. They say they're your parents." The man's chest tightened. For a moment, the pen slipped from his hand. The memories crashed back, his father's voice, his mother's silence, the street, the hunger, the tears. "What did you say?" he asked slowly. "They said they regret what they did. They want to meet you. They say they're proud of you now." The man leaned back in his chair, his eyes dark. After a long silence, he spoke. "Parents?" His voice was steady, but filled with fire. "I don't have parents." The assistant hesitated. "Sir, should I send them away?" "Yes," the man said firmly. "Send them away. My family left me years ago. I don't have a family anymore." From his window, he saw them, older now, weaker, their hair gray, their bodies bent with age. His mother's eyes searched the glass desperately, his father's shoulders slumped in shame. For a moment, the child in him stirred, whispering, "Run to them. Ask them why." But then he remembered the cold nights, the empty stomach, the endless tears. He turned his back to the window, he walked slowly across his office, past his golden awards, framed certificates, photographs of achievements. He placed his hand on his desk and whispered to himself, not in anger, but in truth, "My family left me the day they chose someone else. I built myself. I raised myself. I became who I am without them. I don't have a family. And that is enough." That day, he didn't just close the door on his parents. He closed the door on the past. On the pain. On the little boy who had once begged for love, because family isn't the people who come back when you have everything. Family is the ones who never leave when you have nothing. He was no longer the forgotten son. He was the son who rose. The son who endured. The son who built an empire from the ruins of rejection. He was the son who proved that being abandoned does not mean being defeated, and as he stood in his office, looking out at the city he had conquered, he finally understood, he had never been empty. He had never been worthless, he had always been enough.